Thank you so much. And Judy, thank you for arranging. Thank you so much. We're testing out another audio arrangement this week, primarily for the Zoomers. We care a lot about the Zoomers. We want them to have as good an audio experience at home as you have in the room. So every speaker that comes up here today will be blessed with a lapel microphone. John Montgomery is on his way up, call for introspection. And Alex Barge is here today. He's going to do the pledge.
President Mike. I was thinking about the introspection today. It occurred to me how important smiling is to Kiwanis. In fact, Don Wilson knows that. What was your Sweat Equity Award when you were president? Audience had a special smile. So remember that as you hear this definition of a smile and what it actually means. Thank you, Mike. A smile costs nothing, but gives much. It enriches those who receive without making poorer those who give. It takes but a moment, but the memory of it sometimes lasts forever. No one is so rich or mighty that he can get along without it, and no one is so poor but that he can be made rich by it. A smile creates happiness in the home. It fosters goodwill in business, and it's the countersign of friendship. It brings rest to the weary, cheer to the discouraged, sunshine to the sad, and it's nature's best antidote for trouble. Yet it cannot be bought, begged, borrowed, or stolen, for it is something that is of no value to anyone until it is given away. Some people are too tired to give a smile. Give them one of yours, as no one needs a smile so much as he who has none to give.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Alex, thank you for the pledge. And John, thank you. John, thank you for smiling on us. I failed to mention during my introductory remarks that John and Joyce Montgomery have just returned from their annual trip to the world's largest yard sale. World's largest yard sale. Welcome back. Harry Zuloff is on his way up now. He's going to introduce our guests. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. My name is Harry Zuloff. I am a proud graduate of the Ohio State University, if you didn't know. John Montgomery got this from me up in Ohio this past weekend. So it's a nice folder, isn't it? Okay. Now, I would like to introduce guests. If they would stand, and then their sponsor would stand with them, I would appreciate it. So I'm going to start out with Vicki Meeks Millers. She was stand. She's one of the speakers, and Nancy Hans, also one of our speakers, and a groupie of theirs, Christine Gist, and they're all hosted by Stephanie Moon Reynolds. So remain standing until everyone gets a warm welcome. Anna Arias was hosted by Jackie. Ron Boyd of Local Office on Aging and Ashton King, if they would stand, along with their hosts, Ken Briggs and Don Wilson.
they are going to be, this local office on aging, a corporate member. How about them apples? Betty Turner is here, I believe. If she didn't, there she is, way in the back, and Judy hosted her today. Ellison Heil of Roanoke Landscaping, and that Michael Brockta had invited Ellison. And Parker Wilson, would you stand? No, would you please stand up, Parker? No. All right, there you go. Hosted by Grandpa Don Wilson. And Chris Rouse is here again. Next week, we won't have to introduce him anymore because he will be an official member. So welcome, everyone.
Nicely done. Welcome, everyone. Please be seated. So this is the portion of the program where I deliver a short, inspiring, and meaningful message. And the audience follows that with a rousing round of applause. In my dreams. So this message is about comfort and familiarity. Both of those can make us feel pretty good. And I suspect both of those factors play a large role in our club. After all, this club's been around 100+ years, and the average length of membership in this club is 17 years. That's a lot of comfort and familiarity. Clearly, many of our members are experiencing enough comfort and familiarity to stay a long time. I think that's fantastic. But here is a thought experiment. What is keeping the long-term members here? Is it the same thing that's drawing in new members and guests? Thought experiment. There's a really popular book that was written, one of the business books that I cut my teeth on. Many of you probably did as well. Marshall Goldsmith. He wrote the book titled Is What Got Us Here What Will Get Us There? Is what got us here what will get us there? I don't know the answer to that for our club, but I do know it's an important thing for us to think about. Is what we do today that's resulted in so many long-term memberships, is what we do today exactly what we need to be doing to attract new members or not? I don't know the answer. But I can assure you as club president, and I can assure you as a member of our board, we think about that quite often. And I get up here every week, and what do I talk to you about? And that explains why I talk about it. Let's hear it for outreach. Thank you very much. Okay, announcements. So the officers, we meet tomorrow. Board meets on Monday. Once again, you're invited to our board meeting. I have the pleasure of telling you that so far, every board meeting that's been held during this past year has benefited from guests. Well done. Keep that up. Nature Park, you're also meeting at Monday. Foundation Board, next Wednesday, following this meeting. By the way, the Foundation Board guests, that's a 501c3 arm that's critically important to the future of this club and what we do for the Roanoke Valley. That philanthropic arm funds half of the work this club does. The other half of the funding comes from selling pancake tickets. So, membership, Harry Zuloff is just up here. He chairs our very active membership committee meeting. You're meeting next Thursday. Environment Committee, you're Zooming on Monday. And speaking of committees, incoming President Gene Bollendorf is just starting the ball rolling on committee signups for next year, right? When the baton gets passed on October 1st, we'll have a new slate of committees a new slate of members, a new slate of committee leaders. Gene's going to line you up to succeed with that. Pay attention. There'll be more information coming out about signups. Now, I have a announcement to read from Pegram. Pegram was called away at the last minute from this meeting. And it's about Tudor House. So bear with me. This is important. That's one of the charities that this club supports. You know, I mentioned where our money comes from, right? Comes from the 501c3 foundation and from selling pancake tickets. We give all that money away. Tudor House is one of the beneficiaries of our grants. Well, they're having their major fundraiser, the Big Kahuna. It's a 2-day event at Hunting Hills Country Club, golf tournament, Friday, August 23rd. You're encouraged to support them. Please do. Oh, look at this. They were voted the best local charity event by the Roanoke magazine. Not bad. Okay. Let's see, what else is coming up? DCON, that's our district convention. We're in the Capital District. We're the largest club in the Capital District. Some of our officers are going to attend that convention in Portsmouth later in the month. And in the meantime, I have a Ducky Derby report. Don Witt this year has been encouraging us, as we were encouraged every year, to buy Ducky Derby tickets. He says, what now? We have risen to second place in terms of ticket sales, which is not bad. Of course, yeah, don't clap for that because it's not first place, which is where we want to be. So Don's encouraging you to either see him in person, he'll get you hooked up with some Ducky Derby tickets, or use the QR code that he's previously provided. It's on your tables. Thank you, Don. $90 short. And a Ducky Derby ticket is how much? Right, so just a few tickets away from being won, which is where we need to be. Thank you, Don, for doing that again this year. Now, I talked about the foundation. I'm now going to talk about bragging. This is the point in our program where anyone in the room can come up here with $2 to donate to the foundation and brag about any subject they want for 30 seconds. Well, it has to be not controversial and hopefully interesting. So please come up with your money and your brags.
I've got money this week. Hey guys, I just want to brag on all of you. 31 of you gave a first day passport, $2,500 for book pass. Joe Leamer, who is the king of packing a car, and Bruce Swanson met me at Walmart last Friday. We loaded up that car and we were through by 9:30. I went by Chuck on Monday. All the bags were loaded, all the backpacks. I want to thank all of you for once again being the most wonderful audience ever. Oh, I have to give it back.
Thank you, President Mike. I'm Bill Bestfitch, and I'm up here to brag for what I believe will be the last time in this Kiwanis year on our hardworking Strategic Planning Committee. I want to kind of piggyback on something that President Mike was talking about a few minutes ago. You know, on September 30, his term as president expires. Other officers' terms expire. Some board members' terms expire. And on that date, mark your calendar, September 30, the current Strategic Planning Committee will expire. Now, I'm hoping that if everything goes according to plan, that the board will take this up, the plan that's been drafted, and approve it at the meeting on Monday. Once that happens, well, let me explain that. What I tried to do was invite all of the committee chairs that were likely to be most impacted by the strategic plan to be part of the process. And a few other people got involved as well, which was very much appreciated. So if you're interested in continuing to be on the strategic plan or joining the strategic planning committee, which will not meet as often in the coming Kiwanis year as this past year, sign up to let us know. And if incoming President Gene agrees, I'll be willing to continue to be the chair. But if somebody else wants to take it, I'm not going to arm wrestle.
This is live. Good afternoon. I'm Ken Briggs, and I paid $50 for this brag, so we're going to be here a little while. We got plenty of time, I think. I'm anxious to hear about Don Wilson's grandson, so maybe it won't be too long. Take a moment. Should have a flyer. Would someone at each table find the flyers on the table? Should look something like this. Thank you, Bill Bispich. Everybody got them? It's about the Bridges of Love Unity Concert on Saturday evening, August 24th, sponsored by the Bridge Builders of the Roanoke Valley. And as a lot of you know, the Bridge Builder movement got started in this room when some of us got talking about how segregated racially our churches are on Sunday mornings. So we said we need to do something to get to know each other a little bit. So we've been going about 3 or 4 years, started out by Zoom during COVID, and have been blessed in many ways. Baseball game a couple of months ago, many of you were there. We've had breakfast concerts. We took a bus trip to Greensboro. And all of this, we've had a lot of fun. But I think the best event's coming on August 24th. Why would you want to come to a music concert on a Saturday night? Let me tell you why. The thing is being put together by Kiwanis Milton Harding Jr. Milton can put things together. He is well connected in this valley. He is going to have we're going to have a great time, a great amount of music. Starts at 6 p.m. We want to let folks get home before dark if they want to. Going to have a little reception afterward at Windsor Hills United Methodist Church. So put it on your calendar. I'll send you reminders, and I hope you join us. Thank you.
LOA. Parker, stand up here. Yeah, stand on the chair. That's what Harry Zuloff said to do. His kids stood on their sofa all the time. I have 2 brags today. One is on my grandson, Parker. Parker is my daughter, Jessica's son. Parker's 9. He'll be in 3rd grade this year. I thought Ken was going to brag about the corporate membership that Local Office on Aging has signed. Ken and I went over there Monday morning, and well, we didn't even have to strong arm them. They said, where do we sign up? And we're really thrilled to have Ron and Ashton as part of the membership. One of the projects of Local Office on Aging is Meals on Wheels, and I'm a Meals on Wheels volunteer. A lot of you are, 20 or so of us are, but today Parker and I delivered a Meals on Wheels route. We had 11 recipients. One wasn't home, and it took about 45 minutes. I'm happy to take anyone that wants to be a Meals on Wheels volunteer out on Route 15. It's a pretty easy lift. I do it once a month, been doing it for years. I know these people, and it's a real needed service. Parker, what did you think of your experience delivering Meals on Wheels today?
It was good.
Were any of the older folks anxious and would like to see you? Right. Parker calls Meals on Wheels DoorDash for old people. Thank you, Parker. I love you. You can get down now. My other brag is on the Roanoke Greek Fest. Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church has had their Greek Fest resurrected Last year, September 20, this year will be September 20, 21, and 22. It's a great event. 30,000 people came through last year. Most of you, I expect, were probably there at one time or another, and we would appreciate your support again this year, September 20, 21, and 22. But I have some raffle tickets. This was really popular last year. I sold these raffle tickets. Ducky Derby raffles. What do you win, Don? What are the? You can win as much as $750 on Ducky Derby. I don't want to take away from that, but the Greek Orthodox Church, $100 or a round trip for two to Athens, Greece. See me after the meeting. Tickets are $5 a piece or 3 for $10. Thank you very much. Yeah, we ought to get a second anybody.
So you can take your Ducky Derby little duck and bring it to Greece. Is that what I understand? Okay, time for the program. Now, Stephanie Moon Reynolds has lined up today's program, as she's done for the remainder of the month. She's going to come up here and introduce our speaker. And please come on up. And while you're coming up, it turns out we had a guest show up after the announcements were made. Joe Cobb is here. Joe Cobb is also rejoining our club, so we look forward to that. Welcome, Joe. May I?
Yes, you may. Thank you. Okay. That's right. Eat this microphone. Okay. When I was looking at my schedule for the month of August, I thought this should not be a hard lift. Everybody else seems to be doing it and doing it well. I said, I should be able to handle this. So I went on the journey of trying to find 4 organizations. And in fact, I had about 8, but I could only pick 4. So on this Wednesday, I have the pleasure of bringing 2 of my dearest friends to present to you all. So I will start out with good afternoon, Kiwanians and guests. We are very fortunate to have 2 remarkable guests with us today who exemplify the spirit of dedication and community service. First, I am honored to introduce Nancy Hans, originally from Annapolis, Maryland. Nancy has made Roanoke her home since 1999. Her journey began in 1979 as one of the nation's first fully certified special education teachers, a role she pursued with great passion for 2 decades. In Roanoke, she has continued her commitment to the community well-being by serving as a surrogate parent for individualized education programs and leading efforts in youth risk behavior and prevention. Since 2005, Nancy has led the Prevention Council, known as the Partnership for Community Wellness. Her visionary leadership has been crucial in founding initiatives like the Hope Initiative and the Collective Response, making a profound impact on our community. Next, we have Vicki Meeks Miller, a proud Roanoke native and a dear friend for over 15 years, who has brought her diverse experiences back to her hometown. After working in various regions, including metropolitan Washington, D.C. and the Tidewater area, Vicki returned to Roanoke to champion tourism and to support senior care. She is a certified dementia practitioner and now serves as the community outreach manager for Brightview Health, where she focuses on combating addiction and saving lives. Vicky's dedication is evident in her new role as an incoming board member for the Partnership for Community Wellness, which will undoubtedly enhance the collaboration between her organization and Nancy's. Their combined efforts aim to reduce stigma, educate our community, and implement effective strategies to address substance abuse and its impact. Please join me in extending a warm Kiwanis welcome to Nancy and Vicky. Thank you. Oh, yes.
May I?
So that's for the Zoom people.
Yes.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Great. A little bit. I do have a teacher's voice that has never gone away, especially when I go into the classrooms here. Okay, thank you so very much for inviting me back. And I want to say thank you to Dave Spangler, who I saw something pop up on LinkedIn and he goes, "Can't wait to see you again." I was like, when did I do this before? Which I found it last night at 11 o'clock. I found the 2017 presentation that I did for you all way back in 2017. Some things have changed, but one thing did change. We continue to grow our partnerships, and through COVID, we rebooted, rebranded. So our name since 2022 is Partnership for Community Wellness, and this is what we do and how we can serve each other. We were formed in 2001. We are nearly 24 years old. We rebranded in 2022. This is who we are. We grow out of a culture of partnering for solutions and the need for meaningful community wellness resources connection. And I heard someone say connection, I think it was Dave. This is how we have to do this work because we can't do it alone, okay? We have 3 staff members strong. We're a small nonprofit. I will now acknowledge Sherry Hartman, who was my boss 20 years ago and helped us go from a grant funded, and then Family Service helped us become our own 501c3. So thank you very much, Sherry. It's 2 decades. We're supported by a board of directors. We are boasted by dedicated volunteers like Vicki and driven by a community we all love. So we were a founding member of the Hope Initiative. I was able to know Janine Underwood, who is executive director at the Bradley Free Clinic, where Hope sits. We came together in 2015 when we started to talk about something called heroin, and we did not know why we were losing our children, okay? She always has told her story about Bobby, and we did not know until we met in 2015 that my oldest and Bobby were only a year apart in high school. So that's how we came together, and now we're a decade since then, and the Hope Initiative sits at Bradley Free Clinic and is run by peers that are in recovery. Then in 2018, we continued. We just had a morning meeting today. Joe Cobb was there. Sherry was there. It's called the Roanoke Valley Collective Response. It is open to anyone. And this is how we found that if we do this as a partnership, we can impact lives from prevention all the way through recovery. And we want everybody to know that this is an ecosystem. I always say recovery is prevention. Treatment is prevention. You have to think about that in a holistic kind of way. I do this to honor my cousin who I lost in 2004 in Ohio. And I'm pretty sure it was because of the pills that were coming in and his disease of addiction. So we support the wellness of all people through education and human connections. What we do is we identify the risk and protective factors through research and data and engagement. We reduce barriers, connect community members, organizations to existing resources, and we are still filling the resource gap. The areas of service and connection, that's probably hard to see, but we do work in addiction, community wellness. You're going to all have a booklet. It's called Get the Hashtag Facts. It all has the information in here, and you can also scan it. Okay. So some of our current activities, research through the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, YRBS. We have worked since 2001 With Roanoke County Schools, we partner with some of the administration in Roanoke City and Salem, Botetourt, Craig, and Franklin County. And I know that all of them use that YRBS survey. We use it to fill educational needs. Currently, we have a grant that takes us into grades 8, 11, and 12 to talk about risk behaviors and then how can they protect themselves. Some of the current activities, we facilitate naloxone education opportunities. We are now, since probably about 2017, 18, we go into faith communities. We had over 100 people this past March that went to services, and then we bring in our community support group and partners, and we did a naloxone training along with asking people to understand that this is a disease, a brain disease, that we all can help save lives. We build our PCW Learning Academy with modules. We have 3 about digital health and 1 about THC and 1 about fentanyl. You will see here that there's a fentanyl website. This is something new that happened in January throughout the state. It's called It Only Takes One. And we want to get to parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles, anybody that's taking care of our kids, our teenagers, our young adults, to talk to them about what happens when they may get a pill that they think is something like an Adderall or a Xanax, and it's actually all fentanyl. We facilitate the Incarcerated Moms program at the Western Regional Jail. We've been doing that since 2010. And that helps with creating resources for moms when they get out and teaching them about something called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences, where we help them to understand that this may have been what happened to you, but you can find this journey on the outside and we can bring you resources so you don't ever have to come into this particular space again. And we are vetting and promoting some national resources with BARC, which is for phone use. And there's another one called Natural High that talks about wellness and what are the things that kids really like to do that make their brain feel good without using substances. Partnering to write and fulfill requirements of wellness-oriented grants, fundraising to support sustainability and build capacity, supporting youth leadership through internships. And we have a YADAP is a youth-run annual event through the state. We have had kids go every year, except for during COVID. So we really push to try to get middle and high school kids to do these kinds of things that they then show them leadership, and then community engagement through volunteering. Okay, there are some of the topics that we are working on right now. You can see that we work very closely with also our law enforcement and our life counselors. We've got a lot of things going on around this, what people think is legal THC. We talk a lot about that. And then the phone issue right now, we are trying to help with different groups and also school systems understand that probably having bell to bell, which we hope that most school systems will do in the state, is going to be much better for our schools. They can have their phones, but they have to be put away because school is for learning and they don't need to be out during the day. And then, of course, the whole issue around fentanyl, we are really working to educate as many people as we can about that. One of our most common issues is the vaping. Go through. We go into the schools. We'll be training teachers Friday and next week. But this is the kind of things that we also talk to the kids about and what's real and what's not. So community conversations, they are out. I think we've got at least 10 on the list, Vicki, for going into some of the churches for this that want this information. And then we will have a large event, Star City Strong. Our annual event is going to be at Elmwood Park, October 5th. This is a free family event with health and wellness vendors and activities and strongman competitions featuring some of the strongest athletes from around the world. And what's your why? We ask, why do you do what you do? How do you serve our community? And what can our community do to support you? So how can we serve each other? We are here to connect with you for community resources, connect other community resources to you. Together, we can identify and fill gaps, create awareness through mission-aligned initiatives, and promote our services to those who need it most. In the spirit of wellness, we are also here to support your personal wellness. So that's who we are, and I will let Vicki come up and talk about our partnership.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to be here to.
Wait a minute, hold up. Gotta disconnect one and hook it up. Is that better? Awesome. Thank you all again for having me here today, and I am delighted to be here. As was mentioned, I am the Community Outreach Manager for Brightview Health. Brightview is an outpatient alcohol and substance use treatment facility here in Roanoke. We have 19 locations throughout the state, soon to be 20, and that we will be opening another site in Sterling, Virginia within the next month or so. We have 88 locations throughout the country, and among the many things that Brightview does, which is to provide comprehensive treatment for alcohol and substance use. Of course, our mission and our vision is, of course, provided there. Our mission mainly is delivering, you can scroll through, delivering life-saving addiction treatment and care, as well as mainly removing barriers to care. So when someone is ready for treatment, that window of opportunity is fleeting. So Brightview has provided many opportunities for a person to get in and start their treatment right away. That includes allowing walk-in appointments. You don't have to have an appointment. You can walk in to Brightview and you will be seen and evaluated on day one, and you can receive treatment on day one. So that has been a major way in which we have gotten people started on their way to recovery when that optimal time has presented itself. Also, we provide a pharmacy on site. One thing that those who are suffering face is stigma. Go to a pharmacy, sometimes they have a hard time, and we have that service provided right on site so they don't have to go anywhere and do anything further. Just get there to Brightview and we can take it from there. We also accept all forms of Medicaid, Medicare, and commercial payment, as well as the uninsured, so that so your ability to pay will never be an obstacle to care. The treatment is comprehensive. It includes psychological treatment or counseling, as well as wraparound services or care coordination, and social component through group counseling. So that's where we really need the help of everyone as we provide for the needs of a person who is in treatment. We need people and companies that are willing to give people a second chance. We work with banks that will have second chance accounts that will allow a person to rebuild their life. Mentors, we are very much involved and promote peer support recovery programs so that those people who are in treatment can then be an asset to someone else. And they are very much qualified to relate to the problems that someone faces in recovery because they've been there. So we work with Nancy, we are always looking to partner with all of those that are out here that are willing to assist those who are on this very important journey. We connect our patients to resources, and that is a major objective of mine, is to look high and low for every resource that could benefit someone who is in recovery, and everyone's needs are different. So I have created what I call the lily pad process, in which we know they stand here, they need to get on the other side. So we have to put into place the resources that will help them jump over to that other side. And that's where, again, all of our community members and community partners come together. Now, I have really enjoyed working with the Partnership for Community Wellness, because holistic wellness is all of our objective. We want to help in reducing stigma, bringing attention to those things that cause people to perhaps indulge in drug use, or to become addicted or suffer from the disease of addiction. Trauma is one of those things. So as we go into the schools, we talk about personal issues. I talk about personal issues that have affected my life. And so therefore, people understand that they are not alone in having to overcome things. And so we make a point of really just reaching out in a very personal way to reach others, and to hopefully, our goal is, especially our young people, that they will never walk through the doors of Brightview. That's our goal. But if they do, and in the event that their parents or others need us, we are certainly there to provide that service. Of course, with my incoming role with the board, I look forward to bringing more resources to the work that we do, to continue to provide so many opportunities for everyone to get involved, because this is a community problem. We all know someone that knows someone. So as I'm out and doing my work, I go everywhere, because no one is immune to the disease of addiction. So the treatments that we provide include Suboxone, methadone, Vivitrol. We provide all of the evidence-based treatments under one roof, and there are only 2 in the Valley that do so. So Brightview is one. One thing that sets us apart is that our access. You can have access to Brightview from 6:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. for treatment. So they're just subtle things that set us apart. However, we're all in this together. We work very closely with Drs. Hartman as well, and have appreciated their tremendous work in this area, as well as providing these options to the patients that we serve, so that we all in combined are saving lives. That is the goal and the objective. Some of the things that we do are listed here as well. We support the criminal justice system. We support social workers. We support the unhoused communities. I do outreach at the HAT team, the rescue mission, Ram House, everywhere that I can possibly be, to be a resource and a voice for those who may be in a very precarious position. We certainly want to be that. The main thing that I would like to leave you with is the fact that when someone is suffering with the disease of addiction, things that we do every day, just go to the store, or get an apartment, get a driver's license. Those are monumental tasks for those who are suffering with addiction. Many have started using at a very young age, so their brains have been compromised, their cognitive abilities have been compromised. So the goal of Brightview is to not just send them on their way to these various resources, but to be a resource in that process, to help them to get to those places, get that information, and see them through. So as they are jumping from lily pad to lily pad, we're not only telling them what to do. We are there to be a part of that process. We would love for you all to be a part of that process as well. I have provided some information on each table, the brochure for Brightview that tells you all about our services, as well as a resource piece that will give you some insights as to how communication is done about drugs, using emojis, using certain terms and wording, things that you may not have recognized. It could have been a conversation going on right under your nose and you didn't know it. So there are resources in here as well as our helpline, so that you may contact us for any type of help, as well as assistance in getting the word out, speaking to others, and just advocating for those who need help. Thank you all so much, and I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you both. We're blessed with having a little time. And if you're willing, we can invite the audience to ask some questions. Is that okay? And Stephanie nodded her head too, so you can ask her questions too, I guess. So I will repeat the question and then I'll hand the microphone. I'll have one of you come up and respond. Bill.
Nancy, first of all, thanks for partnering with the Roanoke Valley Collective Response and the other groups that you mentioned. No, previously you said you were coming at the Prevention Council of Roanoke County. Is the rest of your work concentrated now still on just Roanoke County?
So the question was about geographic footprint, specifically, where are you focused? Just, you can hold that.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. And that is why we have grown with partnerships, because that grant ended that started us in 2013. And then the only way we work together is to work with partners. So now we are, especially with the collective response. So we're the prevention piece, but again, prevention is in all of this, what we call the recovery ecosystem. So it's not just there, it's all over, because kids know how to get everywhere.
Next question. We're going to take Jackie for next, if you don't mind, Don. So the question from Jackie Bledsoe was, have you seen a rise in addiction in the Roanoke Valley in the recent past?
So I actually went back to that 2017 PowerPoint, and that's when we had seen across the valley in 2014, because of that youth risk behavior survey. Back then, we didn't know what this thing was, connected pills to heroin. Back then, it was 7% of our Roanoke Valley high schoolers had tried heroin once in their lifetime, okay? We immediately went into this partnership, the Drug Task Force, that started 2014, 15, 16. We started to understand peer recovery specialists, and now that piece of heroin is down below 2%. However, the whole issue with having a pill and being able to get to it by a click on your phone, now there's fentanyl, okay? So it's not gone away, it's moved in different directions, but the more we can do education and the more that we can help even parents of elementary school understand that they should not have iPhones when their little brains are only in the first decade. I now have 2 grandbabies, 5 weeks and 1 year. My kids grew up without the phone in high school. They're very clear about not putting a screen. So all of these things connect if you think about it. It's not just, oh, I'm going to go do that drug. The phone connects us all. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Thank you. Don, I think you had your arm up. Where is Brightview located? Come on up. Just hold that too.
Thank you. Brightview is located at 1345 Plantation Road. So it is 1 block from the intersection of Orange Avenue and Plantation Road, on the corner. It's very close to Brady's Distillery, but not by design.
Okay, we got some humor going. So another question from the audience. Bert, please ask.
Any approaches that address youth or adults who are having addiction problems but are reluctant to succumb to treatment? I mean, how do you reach them if they're not ready, or but they are indeed either by parents recognizing or family recognizing or friends recognizing, but they're not ready to step into that treatment process? How do you deal with that?
So Bert Boyd asked, of course, the $64,000 question. When you see someone who doesn't see themselves as being in need, how do you connect with them and get them started? All of you could probably have something to say about that, couldn't you?
And Vicky can add to this. So please remember that addiction is a family disease. Once one person has it, minimum 5, you can basically think about the fact that that person probably has a sister, a brother, a mom, a dad, grandparents, uncles, aunts, and it probably has been something that's been rising. So in our world, it's a family disease, and we have to approach it from that piece. I pretty much work with families whose kids maybe had started at 13, 14, and now it's out of control. But I also say to them, if that individual is not ready, then you go to the Hope Initiative or other resources to get as much education as you can, because that is the piece that's got to be part of it. It's a family disease. I'm sure Vicky can add to that.
And I will just briefly, I think someone mentioned outreach. That is a big part of what we do, so that we go into their spaces, we meet them where they are, and try our very best to develop relationships. So it can be a process. We might know that they have an issue, but we just try to learn to, just be their friend, meet their other needs. I go in with a boatload of other resources. I need dental work. Well, you can go to the Bradley Free Clinic, or you can go to the Fralin Free Clinic. So it's not always me talking about Brightview, but it's connecting them to the resources and mainly giving them hope. So that's the best way that I could say I go about trying to connect people with services.
We have a growing group. It's called Peer Recovery Specialists. These are people with lived experience. We have over 100 peer recovery specialists now. They meet monthly at Bradley Free Clinic. So to understand that, and we bring those people into the classroom, because that may have started a long time ago. So the kids really relate when we bring in a peer recovery specialist that's been down that road. And sometimes they're like, you don't look like somebody that used. Then we talk about stigma, because we got a lot of stigma around this to shed too.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? That means I get to ask a question. This is an impossible question. I've asked so many people in your space this question.
I'll let her have it.
So let's say I'm an individual that needs some help, and I've got several issues going on at the same time, and I want to reach out to find someone to help me. In Roanoke, every one of us in this room has benefited from some tremendous presentations from tremendous groups who are in the space. How do I know who to connect with? How do I know who to connect with?
So my answer is, you've got people in this room that know about us. So if somebody wanted to know more about us, I'm going to tell you to go to Sherry Hartman because she knows all about us. But I've also got other friends that may have been in other spaces that know what we've done. Christine Gist is one of our staff. She is amazing with the whole mental health side and resiliency side. So I think just in this room, I would say reach out to us. And then you've got people in here that have been in this space.
So just ask, and eventually you'll get pointed in the right direction, eventually. All right, thank you very much. So it's time for us to give a round of applause, which we're going to do now. And then if you all come up, I'm going to give you a little speaker honorarium, and our photographer is going to capture the moment. Would you like to come up too? How am I looking, Don? All right, let's look for Don. Thank you. So I mentioned earlier, and Stephanie mentioned during the speaker introduction, that she's lined up folks for this month. And so next week, Rita Joyce from Fed Up. Fed Up, it stands for Families Empowered to Do Something Good. Okay. Yeah, pretty sure that's what it was. Come next week and we'll find out. Meeting adjourned.